All right, I am a big fan of the Miami Heat and how they have started off this season so far. As I am recording this video, they are sitting at 7-4, and what's the most unique is they are finding ways to win games with some big misses on their roster. Herro has not played a single game yet this season, and Bam Adebayo has been missing for the last couple of games here for the Heat. Yet despite that, they have found a way to stay solid out in the Eastern Conference and collect some quality wins, including a big-time win the other night against the Cleveland Cavaliers off of an Andrew Wiggins game-winning alley-oop dunk. And this is why Erik Spoelstra is one of the greatest coaches in the history of the game of basketball. He knows how to win with whatever he's got. Now let's go all the way back in 2020, where he got that team to the NBA Finals. And yes, they did have some talent with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic, but none of those guys on that roster averaged 20 points per game. They still made the NBA Finals and made it a competitive series against a stacked Lakers team. Go back to 2023, where they get to the NBA Finals after being a play-in tournament team. Now, obviously, Jimmy Butler was great. He had an all-time playoff run, and Bam Adebayo was also great, but still, that was a team that going into the postseason had no business making a deep playoff run, and they still made it all the way to the NBA Finals. Spoelstra knows how to win and work with whatever he's got, and we're seeing that to a high degree so far this season. Just think about it. After the LeBron James era, right? After the greatest player of this generation leaves, he finds a way to keep this franchise solid and competitive with a number of different players coming in and out. There was never a Miami Heat rebuild after LeBron James. Never. They stayed consistent as a playoff threat, and as I just said, they were able to stay afloat and make 2 NBA Finals appearances after LeBron James leaves. It's unbelievable, and again, speaks to how great of a coach Erik Spoelstra is. All right, let's jump into some numbers here for the Heat and talk about why they have been able to perform at a high level so far this year. They're currently sitting at the 7th spot in defensive rating. That includes them being number 3 in opponent's field goal percentage, number 3 in opponent's three-point percentage, and also 10th in forced turnovers. Their offense is solid enough. They're sitting at the 11th spot in offensive rating, and that could get a lot better when Bam Adebayo and Herro return, but nonetheless, they have been very solid as an offensive group without those guys, and on top of that, they have the number 1 pace in the entire league. But what stands out the absolute most is the fact that they are number 1 right now in bench points. Their bench has been so good. They're getting so much production from guys coming off the reserves. I'll start here and talk about Jaime Jaquez, who has been the standout performer off the bench for this team. So far this season, he's putting up a career best 17.5 points per game, alongside with 5 assists, and has been the leading candidate, in my opinion, for 6th man of the year. Just a really smart and mature player, very efficient scorer, knows how to get to his spots, and once again, just adds to this idea that there is value in getting a guy who played for a lengthy period of time on the collegiate level. I have said this so many times on my channel, right? GMs during the draft want to stay away from like those 3 or 4 year players, but there is a lot of benefit to having 3 or 4 year college players on your roster, and we are seeing Jaquez be a great example of that. Their brand new addition, Simone Fontecchio, has also been really, really good coming off the bench, putting up 11 points on ridiculously efficient shooting, both from the floor and from the three-point line, doing a great job at spacing the floor and being just a really good energy guy coming off the bench, which is much needed. And obviously, we have to talk about Kel'El Ware, who has spent some time both as a starter and as a bench player for Miami. He has been really, really good in his 2nd season after having a bit of a rough rookie year. He was up and down as a rookie, right? And he was getting a lot of flack from coaches and even the fan base here and there, which is natural to see from a big man early on in his career. But one thing that is really good is the fact that he has responded in a great way this season and has showed off some pretty great stuff from an offensive and defensive standpoint. I think that game against Miami was a perfect example of his resilience. He had a rough start to the game, but did end with an amazing performance of 14 points and 20 rebounds. So he has already, early in his career, showed off this ability to bounce back and respond well to criticism and respond well to rough patches. So the bench has been flat out amazing. As I said, this is the number 1 bench in the NBA right now. But let's move over to the starters, and I want to talk specifically about Norman Powell, who was one of my favorite players in the NBA and is doing a great job at following up a career year with the Clippers. I 100% thought Norman Powell should have been an all-star last season. I thought he was snubbed, but to see him be able to translate what he did last year over to this season and show that it wasn't a fluke, it is amazing, and he has done a great job at holding holding it down on offense with the absence of Tyler Herro. That is why he's here, right? They need as much perimeter shot creation as they can get in Herro's absence, and also once Herro does return, and Powell has done just that, being an efficient shot creator and scorer, just an automatic microwave sort of player who has done a good job at contributing early here for Miami and doing a good job also at making another strong case for an all-star appearance. If you look at Powell, his numbers are really, really impressive. Right now, he is putting up 25 points per game on 46% shooting and 45.8% from the three-point line. And that's not a fluke, right? That high three-point shooter percentage is not this one-off thing. He has done that the last 3 seasons, counting this one. Last year, he was 41.8% from three, and the year before that, he was 43.5% from downtown. And there was also a year back in 2022 where he was 40.6% from three. An efficient, high-level shot creator is at an absolute premium in the NBA today, and when the Miami Heat are getting that at a high level from Norman Powell. So again, I just love this team. I love the way they've approached playing on both ends of the basketball. Obviously, per usual, the defense has been the most standout thing from this squad, but also, as I said, they've done a good job at staying solid on the offensive end in the absence of 2 key offensive players in Tyler Herro and also Bam Adebayo. And without a doubt, when those 2 guys are back here on the floor and on the roster, Miami is going to be that much better and is going to be a much improved offensive group. The upside for this team is being the best, or at least one of the 3 best two-way groups in the entire game. Again, they have performed this well without 2 All-Stars. Imagine how good they're going to be when those 2 All-Stars return here on this roster. They're going to be scary, and I do have some high expectations for this squad. There really is a world where Miami is going to be a title contending team, right? If you look at the fact that the East is much thinner than what it usually is, and also the fact that Miami is once again playing at a high level without 2 All-Stars, there is a world where this team can make yet another NBA Finals run here in the Erik Spoelstra era. Again, it's going to come down to consistency and also health, but the sky is the limit for this team that has a really good mix of veteran talent and also young talent that is continuing to improve over time.